Flair Espresso Maker is one of the most popular options for home espresso enthusiasts. Recently we got our hands on their latest model called Neo. It is the most affordable Flair model, so we want to compare it to the high-end model called Pro. In this video, we want to find out how different these two models are and how well they can actually brew an espresso. In the end, you should be able to pick the model that is the best for your needs. Let's get started. If you haven't heard of Flair Espresso Maker before, it launched back in 2016 as a Kickstarter campaign. The mastermind behind the product is a Brazilian mechanical engineer, Sergio Landau. Over the years, Sergio with his team kept adding and updating their products, so in 2021, the whole family of Flair Espresso Makers includes 4 models. The first model, that came out in 2016, is called Classic. It offers a simple look and a standard brew head for 12 to 18 grams of coffee. After that came a signature model with a new stylish look. It has the same brew head but comes with an extra pressure gauge and tamper. Their third model, Pro, is the flagship of the brand and was launched in 2018. It uses a new Pro brew head which is bigger and allows for 16 to 24 grams of coffee. And the latest model, Neo, was released in 2020. It has simple setup and comes with a totally different pressurized brew head. So let's start with the price. Flair Neo is the cheapest Flair model. It comes at a fairly competitive price of $119. The Flair Pro 2 model is the most expensive model that comes at the price of $309. That's quite a big price difference, so let's see how they managed to cut the cost down. First thing that is extra for the Pro model is the protective case. It's compact and Flair folds easily into it. You just unscrew one knob and you can put everything in the case and take your Flair anywhere protected, which is great. In comparison, Neo comes in a regular paper box. If you look at Neo and Pro's body next to each other, it's hard to notice any significant difference at first. But if you pay attention to details, you start to notice some. The surface, besides the color, is slightly different on touch. Another difference is that Pro has this nice copper holder for the brew head. Now let's see the components. Neo uses this simple plastic piston for pressing, while Pro has a piston pressure gauge. With this, you can not only see, but also control the pressure as you brew. Another difference is the brewing chamber. The brewing chamber in the Pro model weighs 318 grams and it's by 80 grams heavier than brewing chamber in Neo. The second difference is the volume. The brewing chamber with Pro can accommodate 60 milliliters of water and produce the espresso of 50 milliliters. In Neo, the brewing chamber accommodates 50 milliliters of water and can produce the espresso of 40 milliliters. So the bottom of the brewing head consists of the portafilter and shower screen, and the biggest difference between Pro and Neo is probably here. Pro uses standard portafilter with a diameter of 45 millimeters, which accommodates from 16 to 24 grams of coffee. Neo uses pressurized portafilter that is 40 millimeters and accommodates from 12 to 18 grams of coffee. There is also a difference in the shower screen placement on the portafilter. In the Neo model, the shower screen sits on the portafilter and doesn't touch the coffee. Whereas in the Pro model, the shower screen sits directly on the coffee itself. Neo has this simple plastic tamper, but the Pro model comes with this beautiful Pro looking like tamper made from the metal. The last difference between the Neo and the Pro is the drip tray. The Neo comes with a simple plastic drip tray, and as you can see, it doesn't allow for a lot of water, but the Pro comes with a nicer metal drip tray where you have 2 parts that accommodate some amount of the wastewater. Let's start with the most lengthy part, that will be preheating. Very important yet annoying step with both flares is preheating. With Neo, we preheated with water of the boil 3 times and with the Pro 4 times. This step will help you to avoid those sour shots lacking sweetness. Some like to put the brew head into the kettle or on the steam, but I was rather skeptical to recommend this to avoid the risk of burns. Now I want to explain how pressurized portafilter works and how it differs from the regular one. In the regular portafilter, water flows through the coffee and exits into a cup. In the pressurized portafilter, water flows through the coffee, but then it's collected in area with a small exit hole, so it cannot get out as quickly. As you are pressing, the coffee gets trapped here and it's released only gradually. By this process, coffee gets kind of artificial crema by aeration. Pressurized portafilters are more forgiving and allow for coarser grinds. So now we have the espresso from the Flair Pro and we can taste it. Let's smell it first. Okay. This is washed Peru we are using today. It's specialty coffee. It's roasted for espresso, but still quite light roast. Smells with the apples and caramel, so it's gonna be fruity and sweet, hopefully. Really nice. Because we use slightly higher output, the mouthfeel is super smooth, it's delicate, and the body is medium. It's almost like an espresso, but it's not so thick, which opens up the flavors even more. There is really nice sweetness, especially now coming in the aftertaste. The acidity is in the beginning of red apples, caramel and chocolate. The aroma is really nice, the texture is good. It's slightly less intense, but it really suits well with this Peru. So I think this is just perfect espresso, and to be honest, one of the best espressos from hand espresso machines that I ever had. And now let's taste the espresso from Neo. So by the look you can see the crema is a bit lighter. It's not the real crema per se. And this is also because the crema doesn't come as much here from perfect extraction, but it comes from aerating the coffee. So it's a bit lighter than the original crema. This reminds me of the coffee that you can get from a good automatic machine. So it's very espresso-like, but it doesn't have such a dense body. It doesn't have such a thickness and thick crema. The acidity is slightly higher, but the sweetness is definitely there. It's quite complex, but not as much. It's more juicy. The body is very light, which makes the coffee more delicate. Again, maybe more thickness would be great, and maybe a slightly more acidity and aftertaste would be great, but it's good espresso, it's drinkable, not so far from being really good. After brewing, there comes cleaning. Again, there is a slight difference between the two, so let's have a look. First, let's make sure there is no residue of hot water inside the brew head. We will do so just by pressing on the handle a few times. Okay, now we take the brew head apart. I definitely found this harder with Neo. Take out shower screen, knock the coffee pack out, and now wash all the parts with water. There is one extra step in Neo. If you want to have it clean for the next espresso, you have to flush the pressurized portafilter with water. Otherwise, there can be some residues that you will brew into your other cup of coffee. Bonus, everyone listen! So the cool thing is that you can update your Flair, but the Pro model already has everything you can basically get on Flair, and the only option of an upgrade would be buying an extra brewing head. Then you could make 2 espressos in a much shorter time. With Neo, since it's basic model, we are talking about much more possibilities. You can basically upgrade it step by step to a signature model or even a bit further. So you may be asking now, what's the best espresso maker for me? You should consider Neo if you want to start with espresso making at home and are willing to give it a bit of effort. When we talk about the quality of beverage with Neo's pressurized portafilter and smaller brew head, you will never be able to pull espresso shots in top quality. On the other hand, you don't have to worry about dialing in espresso recipes and potentially wasting your coffee. It's not just pressing the button, but it's much easier to pull a decent espresso shot than with higher models. Also, you are able to brew occasional espresso even if you don't have a premium coffee grinder at hand. Perhaps later, if you like it, you would upgrade to standard portafilter without fear of not being able to make an espresso. Pro, on the other hand, goes straight toward making espresso tasting like from a professional espresso machine. To achieve that though, you should use a high quality grinder and have some experience with dialing in or calibrating your coffee recipe. If you are into espresso and want to get as close as possible to quality of espresso in a cafe, you should go with the Pro version. Okay, so between those two, I would personally go with the Pro, but let us know in the comments what would be your choice and how you make espresso at home. Soon, we will also share a Flair Pro tutorial, so don't forget to subscribe to our channel and see you soon. Bye bye.